Hey man, Hebron Ben Bilal come back at you with another edition of this Boomer's Logic. This is Jay Williams. He's coming out in regard to the whole Kyrie Irving thing. And some of you might know him. Played for Duke, was in the league for a few years. Now he's on I can't remember the name of the show. Comes on in the mornings, ESPN. This is not going to be popular with them, but before we get in the video, if you haven't already, go to the channel, Hebron Ben Bilal, Boomer's Logic. Like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. He goes in, and he's not apologetic, and he already understands what his words are going to lead to. So let's give him a look at it.
Life, I approach it with a state of empathy, right? Regardless of what color, what creed, what race you are, I look at people as human beings. I think that's important. But life is always about taking a stand and holding principles. So I want to explain what I feel like my stance is as a black male in this world, okay? And conversations that I've had with my brothers and sisters in the black community. And I want you guys to empathize with it and hear me on it. So when I hear what Kyrie Irving has to go through in order to be reinstated, I'm appalled. I'm appalled. And let me give you examples of how I feel like we don't have the same energy and hold other people who have dealt with racial tropes accountable. So when Sarah Silverman does blackface, or when Don Imus says nappy-headed hose, or when Howard Stern calls somebody the N-word in the skit, or when Brett Favre takes money from the state of Mississippi, we don't ask them to get sensitivity training. We don't ask them to donate $500,000. We don't ask them to meet with the Black National Caucus. They apologize, and then you know what? The rest of the world moves on. But what I feel like is happening here, and that's how in the black community, like we've been told that's how the process works, right? Think about that word. That's how the process works. Oh, somebody does a blackface. Oh, it was a misunderstanding. We got it. Okay. You know, is that person really racist? Probably not. Was it ignorant? Probably so. Okay. We understand it. We move forward. We don't like it. We would love to hold them accountable. But society and having a lot of black people in positions of power, we don't have the governability to do that. But what we feel like happens with Kyrie is even after an apology, it's not enough. We feel like there needs to be more. And a lot of people I've spoken to over the last couple of days talk about this thing. Older mentors of mine talk about buck breaking. And so we talk about tropes. This is something that we feel like in the black community that happened way back in the day, where if there was a slave that was defiant, right, he got broken in front of everybody in order to show that he was not in a position of power. And that at the end of the day, he had to do what he was told to do because that's what was mandated of him. And there's a bigger situation going on with what's happening with Kyrie Irving. If the Nets don't want him to be there, just say you don't want him to be there. But we should hold everybody accountable, even owners of teams accountable, with things that are happening in other countries, i.e. China and Uyghurs and the Muslim genocide that is occurring, that we hear Enes Kanter talk about. But we don't keep the same energy for everybody. We pick and choose what conversational points we want to make more polarizing. And I might lose my job. I might lose deal opportunities in the future for speaking out about even the platforms that continue to promote and profit a movie that is considered anti-Semitic to billions of people. They don't have to be accountable. Who is accountable? But we're going to put everything on the shoulders of Kyrie Irving, who, even though he said, I cannot be anti-Semitic because if I know where I came from, stating that he's one of the 4 lost tribes. He's saying that blacks and Jews come from the same entity, the same thing. But we don't want to understand new.
I'm going to stop right there and I'm going to start it back up. He said the 4 lost tribes. He was absolutely wrong. It's the 10 lost tribes. But I understand what he's saying. It's being miseducated. So, you know, he only has a small amount of knowledge or information in regard to, Israel. So he's saying the four lost tribes, which is inaccurate. But I understand what he's saying, and I appreciate where he's going. Let's continue.
Nuance. We want to be triggered by words, and we like fire, and we like things that are, going viral on social media, and everybody has some kind of hot take, and we're calling people idiots, and we're calling people names because that's what we do. We just destroy each other. I ain't gonna destroy each other, man. I'm not gonna do that. Is Kyrie Irving anti-Semitic? Hell no. Could he have gone about it maybe a different way? That's what I would have advised him to do. But I'm not gonna let you guys sit out here and make this dude out to be like he is a villain, like he is a bad person. He is looking to explore his heritage. Now, you can crucify me if you want. I don't give a damn anymore. It's time for people to start speaking out with nuance and speaking out on the principles they stand for. That's all I'll say.
He's dead. His career's over. But see, at some point in your life, you have to take a stance. I'm going to give you a story right quick, right? I was in USP Atlanta. I worked in the kitchen. I had a very prominent position. I worked in the Common Fare, but not only did I work in the Common Fare, the Common Fare was a place where you fed all the religious groups who ate different things, right? So I was basically serving the Ashkenazi Jews, the Hebrew community, and the Islamic community. And anybody else who had any dietary restrictions, I fed them personally. So the Common Fare was a very coveted position in the institution. Everybody wanted it. Well, most people who worked in the kitchen wanted it because you had access to everything. And you had a lot of interaction with the, higher ups, the head of the kitchen, all those type of people. You got to order what you needed to order for them, all that type of stuff, man. So I had that position, and I was looked at as, hey, man, Neil can do whatever he kind of wants to down there in the kitchen because he holds this position, and this is a valued position. So one day, the head of the kitchen, his name was Mr. Harmon. Jack, you remember this situation. He asked me to do something that would violate the dietary tenets in which not only Israelites lived by, but the Ashkenazi Jews as well as the Hebrews, the Muslims lived by. What he wanted me to do was serve them food that was already open. It was spoiled, and it was just really bad. And I refused to do it. And he said, listen, man, Neil, just wrap the food up in plastic wrap, put it in the oven, go ahead and serve it. I'll take care of it. I said, no, I'm not going to do that. I refused to, because I had the trust of these people. These people looked at me as the gatekeeper. Look, he's serving us something, that we're allowed to eat in regard to our dietary restrictions, our limitations. What we're commanded to eat and what we're not commanded to eat. And I refused to do it. So he was like, okay, what are you going to do? I said, I'm going to quit. I said, I'm not going to take that because, I just couldn't take that out there consciously and serve it to these men who looked at me as being the gatekeeper and saying, we respect and know that Hebron's going to do the right thing by us, right? So I quit instantly. I said, I'm not going to do it. Boy, you should have seen jokers running to get that position because they couldn't even believe that I quit. And not only did I quit, I went and I wrote him up. Writing a staff member up is akin to alerting the authorities. Hey, listen, this is what's going on over here, blah, 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 blah. Filing a complaint is pretty much what it is. The next day, even the staff couldn't believe it. They said he did what, he quit, and he did what, he wrote up Harmon. It was such a brouhaha. It was a dust up. People couldn't believe that I did it. I walked away from a prime position in a prison where you could have anything you want. And then on top of that, people valued me and seen me in a certain way, but I would not, I could not conscience-wise, I couldn't do this. And I walked away and I did what was right. You know what I'm saying? I lost the job, but I was blessed with something better. You know, I was blessed with respect. People looked at me a certain way. I was hired anywhere I wanted to be in that institution. And Jack can attest to this. Anybody would hire me because of my work ethic, because they knew what I stood on, because they understood that, look, when it comes to Neil, this is how he's going to do things. And you have to respect it. And I would not bend or break in regard to those things. And this, to me, is the exact same thing. Where Jay is saying, hey, look, man, I'm at my wit's end with this. I can't move forward. My conscience won't allow me to move forward. Even if they take my job, man, my conscience will not allow me to move forward and allow you all to continue to do this. This man is exploring his heritage, his culture. He understands where he's from. And you're calling him anti-Semitic for this. And I can't do it. In good conscience, I just can't do it. I can't sleep at night. I can sleep at night without a job. I can go get another job. I can start a YouTube channel and just probably get as much as, you know what I'm saying? But I can't sleep at night knowing that I stood aside, stood idly by, and allowed this to happen. And I'm proud of him. You know, so here's another example. I think they're coming for the brother. And I hope he stands on what he says he's going to stand on, because it's going to be greater for him on the other side. I know his views went up. I know his likes went up. You know what I'm saying? So all I can say is, brother, stand on it. You know what I'm saying? And I hope your coworkers stand with you. I love y'all. See y'all on the next one.